to go. It looks like France are represented up in front. It is still Switzerland. Now, looking at the Swiss lineup, again, I've been putting you on the spot quite a lot today, which I apologise for. There's the bunch behind, or the remnants of the peloton behind. They were probably at around 15 or 20 seconds. You've got the Michelin neutral service in between. I'd imagine they're going to strip that car out very quickly because the chase is on behind, and there's still enough road, I think, Jens, for that group to make contact.
Yeah, I managed to count about 12 seconds, so it's not a huge gap anymore, and I think some of the teams will be desperately trying to claw this gap back, whereas the teams at the front are just trying to position their sprinters. Switzerland, we had this conversation yesterday. I have no clue who's going to sprint for them. It might just be a GC thing with Young Kirsten, who's probably going to be their GC hope. Maybe trying to keep some other riders behind after that crash, but it could just be positioning here.
Well, watch out for the United States. If Luc Lamberty is up there, he would have certainly figure. One would imagine that the French team are also well represented by the looks of things here. The best young rider in the white jersey, Pierre Thierry. They're in the blue, riding on home soil, of course. This, the race of the future, 4 kilometers to go, and in about 300 meters, as you can just see the bunch, or the second half of the bunch, should I say, nearly about to make contact. It's going to come at a big cost. I don't think there'll be too many legs fresh enough to participate in the sprint, but in the next 100 meters or so, there's a hard right, and then that will be the road that takes us back into the center of Chinon. Here is that right turn. Thankfully, it's a turn they can take at speed, although one rider nearly gets that one wrong. An unfortunately placed truck just on the corner, but everybody's got round okay, and it does look as if this is going to be sewn back together, Jens.
Yeah, I think a couple riders trying to make use of that turn to close that gap, and I think the important riders who will have saved their legs, who have been worked forward, will get across that gap, but I don't think anyone from that second group is going to position themselves in time for a sprint. It'll be the riders at the front. It looks like Israel is well represented here. Same for the Denmark, France, and Germany. Some other riders may be caught out, but these are some of the great sprinters that we've got here. I haven't seen Lamperti so far, so that's one rider to look out for. I do see a couple of US jerseys in that second group, so maybe he's been caught behind that crash.
Indeed. Well, one team that are present, you can see them on the left-hand side, they're right, and that is the Israeli team looking after Oded Kogut, one of the fastest riders around. He looks to be in about 4th or 5th wheel at the moment. The Netherlands also represented just in the centre, and then the ever-present Danes, and also I think there's the under-23 Italian road race champion in the mix I can see floating around as well. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of the road, as we look at it, it is Great Britain. 2.3 kilometres to go now.
Not too far to go anymore for this sprint preparation. It looks like this group is going to sprint for the win, unless someone takes a late flyer. I think this is going to be the sprint. We've got probably most of the sprinters in this group, and it'll be the only real sprint stage we'll see this whole week. So it's an important one, and there'll be pressure for the biggest sprinters in this group.
This is absolutely fascinating stuff. 2Ks to go now. As another rider swings off, and the pressure still being applied on the front by Great Britain. Now, the colour blocking has just gone away that we saw a few moments ago. The Israeli team looked to have been swept aside. It is Great Britain on the front. They've got some fast riders amongst their number. Watch out for Max Walker. Also maybe Rob Donaldson as well. Both of those riders are super fast. Not too sure which one will be protected today. Coming in very shortly to the final kilometre of this race. Once they go through the Flamme-Rouge, the road continues to go straight. There's then a little gentle left-hander which turns into a right-hander, and then with about 250 metres to go, the finish line opens up. But this is fast. That group has now come back together. We've got the vast majority of riders still together. This is going to be fast and furious here. Hold on to your hats, Jens.
Yeah, and it's chaotic as well. There's very few riders with their whole team together. It's just individuals trying to position themselves. It looks sort of like an even younger category sprint with no team cooperation at all. The French team have got a couple riders, but there's very little cooperation coming up now, and we're really, really close to the finish, I think.
Yep, coming up to the finish very, very shortly. The fact We're surrounded in trees. Looks like we're right on the edge of the town. There is the exit sign to Chinon, but of course on the other side of the road, that means we're now entering the town once more. Nozay to Chinon, 195 Ks. What a stage it has been so far. The maillot jaune went out. This is the lead out now. We're coming into the last couple of 100 meters. It is a big lead out in the center for the Israel team, but coming around on the left-hand side is France as well. Wow, in the center there looks like one of the Poles as well. What a sprint this is going to be. But on the right-hand side, looks like it's going to be Israel in the center. Oh, one of the Polish riders thinks he's won. Also, one of the Canadians thinks he's won as well. That was Riley Pickrell, I think, in the center. An absolute blanket finish here. Two riders thought they'd won that one. It looked like that was between Israel, Poland and Canada. Well, pick the bones out of that one, Jens. One thing is for sure, that was an absolute thriller. Couldn't call it. Very close. That will go down to a photo finish.
Yeah, I do think one of the Polish riders definitely set up too early. It looks like it might be Riley Pickrell who's taken the stage at the last minute. This is a group coming in with probably some of the GC favourites who have lost some time. I do see Archie Ryan in there with a torn sleeve. That's just one of them, but there will be more riders who crashed out about 20 kilometers ago. But a really chaotic sprint. We'll have to see that again right now with one of the Poles who let it out from a long way to go, but just sitting up too early.